objective of today's event is very practical. Is actually we want to help Egyptian universities, research centers, and also public bodies and non-academic organizations to better understand how to attract researchers to their institutions through the MSA, especially through the postdoctoral fellowship, but also through the wider MSA landscape. And I will also come back later in the program to speak in more detail about the support services available in Egypt. This is especially important because we are about to start through the Ministry of Higher Education and a technical assistance project that will include a dedicated package of support for Egyptian researchers and Egyptian institutions, not only to help them navigate opportunities, but also to work with them in enhancing their competitiveness and their proposal quality and the compliance with the regulations. And I will speak more about that later today. But before I begin, I would like to warmly thank the MCA Global team, especially Tuba Arslan and Christina Gomez for their continued support, as usual. And not only in Egypt, but more broadly across the region. I know they have been doing a lot of important activities in the region and supporting the national contact point there, and also the structures through the support provided to the different institutions and activities, also for awareness raising and training. So that's very much appreciated. So I would with that I would like to begin first with a quick national picture about the situation in Egypt in Horizon Europe, then place MCA in the wider Horizon Europe framework, and perhaps finally walk you through the main MCA actions before handing over to the next speaker, Tuba, for the more interesting part of the day. So I would, sorry. Yes. So I thought first that I can share with you some numbers that I think might surprise some of you in a good way, because Egypt is not starting from zero in Horizon Europe. As this graph shows, over the last 4 years, Egypt has already been involved in 45 Horizon Europe projects, and we have an overall relatively good success rate of nearly 21%, and there is also a particularly strong performance in the MCA, and more specifically in the staff exchange. Though, to be accurate, our volume in terms of number of proposals submitted is much lower than many European countries and many also associated countries. In total, we submitted 240 proposals over the whole duration of Horizon Europe till the end of 2025. And of course, this number is not big enough to support our claim of high success rate. It is much less than the number of proposals perhaps submitted monthly for other countries. Nevertheless, it shows a potential, and I'm trying to be positive here, because for a country like, that very recently was participating before the full association, I think this is very encouraging starting point. It tells us that the Egyptian institutions have already shown that they can compete in a high selective European program. So that's I would say could be also, you can look to the numbers from and a way that also would help and encourage the participation, despite the low volume of course of proposals submitted. And I want to highlight also here that these 45 projects involve around 31 different Egyptian organizations, which received funding of around 6 million euro in EU contribution. And And I'm saying this because it's also very relevant to a couple of messages that I received recently from some colleagues that they indicated that the Horizon Europe is only for big universities, or in Egypt only few institutions who are capable of participating, and this is not true. And the data also shows diversity in terms of scale and size of institutions. So that you can see also the top applicants here from Egypt. They are Agriculture Research Center, and this is the biggest research center, not only in Egypt but also in the region. And you can see also the National Research Center, the Academy of Scientific Research and Technology. You can see Siemens Industry, Helwan University. So we are speaking about research institutions, big ones, and let's say normal size ones. And there is also universities and the private sector. And this is important because Horizon Europe and the MSCA in particular are not, let's say, for one institutional category only. And and the breakdown I added on the right side here is also very telling. We can see that the strong Egyptian participation in the staff exchange, which we will speak more about it today. And that's followed by research and innovation actions, and coordination support actions. So there is also a diversity in terms of the different types of projects that we were engaged in. And there is another point that I want to highlight here. That's the issue of eligibility and readiness. Because the last 4 years data show that we roughly in Egypt submit around 68 proposals per year, and 48 of them were eligible for evaluation, and 10 only funded. And these are the average annual numbers. And I would say, looking from these numbers, I can say that we are not only facing a competitiveness challenge, we are also facing a proposal preparation challenge, because these 25% of proposals submitted that were not eligible for evaluation, you can see that effort is being lost before even proposals fully compete. And this can be for different reasons, like wrong submission form, or wrong consortium composition, or any kind of eligibility issues, and that means that there is a room for improvement in our figures. And that's why also our event today is very important, because it helps understanding these eligibility conditions and understand more these opportunities. And I will inform you later regarding also the support packages that will be available through the technical support or technical assistance project that I mentioned earlier. So who is eligible to participate, and also what does it mean that Egypt is now associated country to Horizon Europe? So let's say in the general eligibility rule here, that for many collaborative Horizon Europe actions, the general minimum consortium rule is 3 organizations from 3 different EU member states or associated countries, and at least one of them must be from a EU member state. So that could mean, like, Germany, Spain, and Egypt, and that would meet the minimum conditions for participation. Or Egypt, Tunisia, Germany, or France, and so on. So this is how the consortium for configuration would work as at the minimum level. And when we say member states, we mean the 27 countries of the European Union, and by associated countries, we mean the non-EU countries that have signed or concluded an association agreement with Horizon Europe. And at the moment, there are several countries associated to Horizon Europe, as you can see from the map this map on the right side. And by the way, not all of them are fully associated. as some are associated only to specific parts of the program. Egypt, however, is fully associated to Horizon Europe. So as Egyptian applicant, you don't need to check pillar by pillar or call by call whether Egypt is generally covered by the association. So you can consider that we are covered across Horizon Europe, including MCA. And there is also another group of countries called widening countries, where Egypt is also part of this group. And I strongly encourage Egyptian researchers and institutions in this session today to mention explicitly when speaking with potential collaborators in Europe that we are associated country and we are also widening country, because many colleagues will now understand that Egypt is associated to Horizon Europe, but perhaps fewer will automatically realize that Egypt also has a relevance in the widening landscape. So what does it mean in practice being a widening country? It doesn't really change the core MCA rules or Horizon Europe rules or mobility rules, but this is this widening status can still be strategically important in different parts of Horizon Europe, where widening is explicitly supported and encouraged, or the inclusion of a widening country, like, adds value to the consortium or is a requirement. So my message is that just make it clear that Egypt is, when communicating with your collaborators in Europe, that Egypt is fully associated, and Egypt also is a widening country. So this slide shows the overview of what Horizon Europe is. It's a funding program giving grants and also other financial support in areas of research and innovation. And it's a part of a 7-year budgeting cycle of the European Union. So it runs from 2021 to 2027. And we are currently in the last phase of the program implementation. In terms of structure, it contains 3 big parts, plus the dedicated part on widening participation, the horizontal part that you see on the bottom of the slide. And just to give you an impression on the scale we are talking about, I said that it's a 7-year program from 2021 to 27, and there is a budget available around 95 billion euros for 7 years. And you can see more or less how the budget split between the different parts of the program. The biggest part is with the 53 billion dedicated to Pillar 2. And Pillar 2 is called the Global Challenges and Industrial Competitiveness. And behind this, there are the collaborative projects with funding to boost collaboration in research and innovation. And this where you can find the thematic clusters like the health, culture, inclusive societies, digital industry space, and so on. And this is part of Horizon Europe that is more policy-driven and more topic-driven. And in other words, applicants respond to defined priorities, very clear topic description, expected outcomes, and expected impact. And you start applying on what's already defined by the European Commission. And this is not the case for the second biggest part, dedicated to the first pillar, the excellent science. And this is where the MCA lives. And this is actually what we are going to focus on today. And in this pillar, you can come up with any idea. You don't really need to stick to a kind of a topic description, because this is a program that follows a bottom-up approach. And in general, this pillar support frontier science, research mobility, and also talent development, research infrastructure, And for Egyptian researchers and institutions, this pillar and the MCA in particular is very important because it's often considered the most direct entry point to the whole program when the goal is to build scientific excellence and recruit talents and connect to international research careers. And and then pillar 3 is innovative Europe, and this is particularly relevant for breakthrough innovations, for startups, for scale-ups, and innovation ecosystem. We're not going to cover that today. And for on Marie Curie, and this is the EU flagship program for doctoral and postdoctoral training. And also for encouraging research careers, attracting talents and retaining researchers, and also reintegrating those who are working elsewhere. And this is our main focus today. And as I said, it's part of Pillar 1 under Horizon Europe. So on this slide, you can see the main MCA action families. And for this year, 2026, our calendar revolves mainly around the first 4 goals. So the postdoctoral fellowship, the doctoral networks, staff exchange, and co-fund. The MCA and citizens is also part of the family, but it's focused on public engagement and is not, let's say, the central focus of today's event. So let's begin by saying a few words about each one of them, and then we can dive deeper on the technical aspects in the next sessions. So let me begin with the postdoctoral fellowship, because this webinar is mainly about how Egyptian institutions can attract researchers. And here we have 2 types, the European Postdoctoral Fellowship and the Global Postdoctoral Fellowship. In both cases, the application is prepared jointly by individual researcher, one individual researcher with a PhD typically, and a host organization. And for Egypt, the important point following now, because now Egypt is a associated country, Egyptian organization can host European Postdoctoral Fellowship, and that researcher who will be hosted could come from, like, another Arab country, or from Europe, or from Africa, or anywhere else. It could be also an Egyptian researcher returning from abroad. So nationality here is not a factor. And the other type, the global postdoctoral fellowship, here the Egyptian researchers can apply as an individual researchers to go to a non-associated third country. And because Egypt is now associated, and the Egyptian institution cannot be the outgoing host in the non-associated third country phase, but Egypt can be the host of the returning phase. We'll speak more about that in the next session, but just for you to know that postdoctoral fellowship is the application here is prepared by an individual researcher and a host organization, and Egypt can be a host organization, and the Egyptian researcher can also apply individually here. The second family is the doctoral networks. Here we move from the individual fellowship logic to a consortium-based doctoral training logic. And the goal is to build a consortium involving different organizations that will recruit and train doctoral candidates. And the minimum consortium size here is 3 different organizations. So as I gave the example I gave earlier, it still fits here: Egypt, Germany, and France as an example. And there is also different formats of doctoral networks, including the industrial doctorates and joint doctorates. And the third family here is staff exchange, and this is the most popular one in Egypt and the strongest MSA participation area so far. So here the staff exchange are not about recruiting fellows. The aim is to build collaborative research and innovation projects through mobility of staff. So the funding here is for the exchanges, the intersectorial exchanges and the international exchanges of staff, and of course the staff that are involved in research and innovation activities. And the consortium configuration is again 3 different organizations. Yeah, and the fourth family is co-fund. We are not going to spend a long time on it today, I think, but it's still very important, and because this is particularly relevant for organizations such as the Academy of Scientific Research and Technology, or STDF, or the ministry, but also other research organizations and universities that want to internationalize or upgrade their own doctoral and postdoctoral schemes. So if I can summarize this slide, if you want to host an individual postdoctoral researcher, then think about postdoctoral fellowship. If you want to build an international doctoral training network and recruit doctoral candidates, so think about doctoral networks. And if you want to build a collaboration through staff exchange, and this is actually what staff exchange is about. And we are going to dive deeper in this, and this is exactly where the rest of today program becomes so valuable, because after this kind of very general framing, we move to, let's say, the more interesting part, and I mean moving to the more operational detail. And Tuba will take us deeper into the opportunities for the institutions under doctoral networks and staff exchange and these actions. And yeah, so with that, I would like to thank you for your attention, and I'm pleased to hand over to Tuba for the next session.
Thank you. I'm just sharing my screen. I just need a couple of seconds for that. Okay. Now I hope it's full screen, right? Can you see it exactly?
Yes.
Okay, great. Hi, everyone. I'm very happy to see that the room is very crowded. I would like to thank you for your kind participation first. And then I would like to thank Academy of Scientific Research and Technology, specifically to ARM for making this info day possible today. With my colleague, Christina, we will be trying to explain you the details of postdoctoral fellowships of Marie Skłodowska-Curie actions. But ARM already did a very nice introduction about the other actions of Marie Skłodowska-Curie. So the first session, the first 20 minutes, I will be trying to giving you the details of those actions, because this is a really big opportunity for us to explain you what these actions are. But I would like to underline that we are planning to organize different info sessions for each of those actions, thanks to MSCA-GLOPOL project, which is funded by European Commission. But today's focus will be mainly on postdoctoral fellowships, which is very, very popular in Europe and in the world, I can say. I don't see all the raised hands. I'm so sorry. My screen is full, but please do not hesitate to write your questions in the chat box or Q&A box. Sorry, we will be very happy to reply them. I already saw 2 questions in Q&A. I will be coming to the replies of those. Otherwise, if I don't see, I will be replying in a written way. So I will not lose time to explain you where Marie Skłodowska-Curie actions is placed under Horizon Europe. Horizon Europe is the biggest civil research program in the world, I can say. It's European Union's program, but as I said, it's the biggest, largest funding program in terms of civil research. And Marie Skłodowska-Curie actions is just one part of it under Pillar 1, under Excellence Science. But you will be seeing many other opportunities under the other pillars. As Egypt has just become an associated country, you are very welcome to make use of those funding schemes under the other pillars as well. Don't forget that the other schemes, mostly under Pillar 2, are thematic schemes, so you need to go and follow your research area, which calls are published by European Commission, and you need to check that, and you need to submit submit proposal under the relevant calls. But for Mary Skłodowska actions, I would like to start with saying that it is a bottom-up approach, which means that we can gather, I see 155 researchers in one room, or research institution representatives or company representatives who are carrying out research. We are very happy to gather everyone with different research areas in the room, because MSCA, Mary Skłodowska actions, in shortly MSCA, is a bottom-up approach, which is the meaning the actions can fund any research topic. So the applicants can pick up, can choose, can select the research topic by themselves and follow the rules of the application depending on the action they will be submitting a proposal. The budget of Mary Skłodowska actions from during the Horizon Europe program duration till 2027 is 6.6 billion euros, which is good. And we hope to have a larger budget for the next program, which is supposed to be FP10. We say we don't know the exact name, but which will start after the end of the calls published after 2027. And I have to underline that we are very proud of these actions, the Mary Skłodowska actions, because already 23 Nobel Prize winners, either backed by or may be involved in one of the actions that we will be talking about today with you, and we hope to raise the number of those Nobel Prize winners thanks to MSCA funding. Okay, I will be talking about all those key features, but already mentioned that this is a bottom-up approach. This is the aim of the actions is to researchers, just to advance the researchers' trainings and skills and career development. It's always there. We are looking for the excellent researchers to do an excellent research under all domains. So they are available to choose their own research topic. International, intersectoral, and interdisciplinary mobility is always there. I will be talking about what does it mean under each action. And it's good that the conditions that's created for the researchers under those actions are really attractive working conditions. The employment conditions are good. So the national rules and these international European rules are just aligning thanks to those actions. And I can say that the competitiveness is always there. Academia and non-academia. I am very happy to see in our slides that non-academia is already taking part in MSCA in Egypt, and we hope to see many more non-academic institutions plus academic institutions in those actions taking part in MSCA. And we are very proud of celebrating the 30th anniversary of MSCA this year, which means that since 3 decades, the researchers are funded by MSCA. I hope we will see many more years. Okay, I would like to start with the panels because, as we said, this is a bottom-up approach. So the researchers, the applicants, the institutions who are who are submitting the proposal can pick up any scientific panel among those 8 panels. But I have to tell you that there are sub-panels, subtitles under each scientific panel. Here you see, which will help the evaluators and the applicants to match each other. So you can choose chemistry, but you will see under chemistry there will be many subtitles, and you will see in the actions that all actions are asked to be some multidisciplinary side. So if you're choosing chemistry plus life sciences together, you need to decide which panel is the most suitable panel for you to submit your proposal. This will totally depend on you as the applicant of the proposal. Okay. As we said, today's topic is totally postdoctoral fellowships, but I will be very shortly, as Arm did, talking about staff exchanges, doctoral networks, co-fund, Choose Europe, which will come in 2027, and MSCA students. You will see that some actions like postdoctoral fellowships are just like individual driven projects. So one researcher is writing a proposal, of course, with an institution and submit the proposal together. But for the other calls like doctoral networks, like staff exchanges, you need to set up a consortium, which means that at least 3 institutions need to come together to write a proposal and to submit a proposal. So I'm coming to that point just now. As I said, as MSCA GLOPOL project, we will be organizing many more sessions specifically for those actions. For instance, doctoral networks will open the call on 28th of May. So we will be trying to organize another session in the month May to make you acquainted with this call so that Egyptian institutions and researchers can take part in this call because Egypt is an associated country now and make full advantage of this action as well. Okay. I'm already showed you what are those because this terminology is, I think, important. You need to know which countries you can be partnering in the consortium. So member states are there. UK is not there anymore, so we include it under Horizon Europe associated countries. Egypt is there, so you need to check the associated country list. Every time you're submitting a proposal, the list is changing frequently thanks to the advancements with EU relations. I can tell you that Albania, Armenia, Turkey, Ukraine, UK, they're all there. So those are the institutions that you can take, you can cooperate, you can take as a partner in your doctoral network staff exchanges consortiums, which is very good. And all the other countries out of member states and associated countries can be accepted as third countries. This is not third world countries, but the terminology says that they are third non-associated countries with Horizon Europe. So all those remaining countries can be partnering in some actions like staff exchanges, like doctoral networks, but the budget that will be received automatically or not automatically, exceptionally, will be decided depending on the nature of the country and the agreement between EU, European Union and that country. So we will be coming to that detail. Okay, very shortly, staff exchanges. I cannot skip the opportunity to explain you this staff exchanges because this is the most international program, not only under MSc, but in Horizon Europe, because this program is allowing you to write a research project. This is very important. It is research project, not like Erasmus or not like the other EU funding programs, but this is the research project because it is located under Horizon Europe. So you're writing as an institution a proposal because you are an associated country like Egypt, and you're including 2 more countries and 2 more institutions from those countries. So minimum condition is just writing a proposal with 3 institutions from 3 different countries. And this needs to be a research project. But just setting up this minimum condition, you can add many more partners in your proposal from Europe, from member states, from associated countries, or from any country in the world. That makes this program the most international program of Horizon Europe. I will be showing you some examples, and I saw a question in Q&A box. I will be replying soon. And the good thing is that both academic and private, which means non-academic, which means big companies, SMEs, or museums, hospitals, NGOs. So all those non-academic institutions can also take part in this call, just as a partner or as a coordinator of the proposal. So you can create some synergy with the other actions. So this is a nice program. The rules, the minimum rules are set up, but you can add many more features in your proposal if you like to make it really international. The budget is there for 2026, but I will be showing you that the call will be closing on in April, 16th of April. So it's a very limited time for now. Just keep in mind that the next year in 2027, there will be a new call. So maybe you will just start looking for partners, but maybe you can try to write a proposal for the next year as well. Okay, I will repeat the minimum condition, which is just creating a consortium of minimum 3 legal entities, which means institutions from academia or non-academia, in 3 different countries. But those 3 countries, among of them, 2 of them needs to be either a member state or associated country like Egypt. So this is the minimum condition. As I said, you can add, I don't see many proposals which is written by just 3 countries or 3 entities. It's generally, 6, 7, 8, or 10. More than 10 is also okay. You can add many associated partners I will be coming to the difference. You can add many partners in it, but of course the proposal needs to be manageable. So as soon as you increase the number of the partners, you need to define in the proposal how you will be managing this proposal, this project, if it is funded. So try to be wise which countries, which entities needs to be added, because the aim is to include academia and non-academia. This is for sure with this year's rules. You have to include both sectors in your proposal, that's for sure. It's bottom-up approach. You can choose your topic. I will be coming to the budget, but I have to tell you that when you set up your proposal, your consortium, the staff, it should be research staff, but it can be also technical and managerial secretarial staff, which are related to doing a job in terms of research terms, so they can also be seconded. It is not a recruitment, it is secondment. So in the consortium, those staff will be seconded to the other partners. That's why it's very important which partners you are taking in your consortium. As I said, you can include EU member states, associated countries, or non-associated, any third country in the world. But the exchanges needs to be interdisciplinary, intersectoral, or international. You can choose. There is no limit between the exchanges between academia, or non-academia. There have been some limits. Perhaps as Egyptian institutions, you already had some experience with staff exchanges. But the new rules are saying that the exchanges can be done internationally, interdisciplinary, or intersectorally. So it's more flexible now. It's 4 years project, but each staff who will be seconded can be seconded up to 12 months, not more than, but in each institution, there will not be only one staff who is seconded. There will be many more staff depending on your proposal structure. Maximum 360 person months can be written in a consortium, which means that if you write 12 months per person, so if you add 10 staff to be exchanged, it will make 120 person months. So you can calculate 360 person months maximum for your proposal. Of course, this will include all exchanges in the consortium. And synergies can be created. Why do we say that? The budget is a bit limited, but it's still good budget because you are providing to your staff the salary already. You will not cut the salary because this is secondment. Plus, European Commission will be providing some allowances per month the staff to leave to another country, and to the organization there will be some budget for research, training, networking, for also management. So these are the budgets, and some other synergies with the other projects can be created. So there might be some other budget in the proposal. You can decide. Okay, I already mentioned all those rules. As I said, researchers at any career stage can take part. There was a Q&A question. So in this proposal, I can say that there is no age limit, there is no experience limit. So anyone in the university from assistants till the professorship can take part in this proposal to be seconded to other consortium members. But anyone in the non-academic sector who just started to work in this company can also take part, so there is no limitation. But I will be talking about different rules in postdoctoral fellowships, so just please be careful about that. There is no age limit in postdoctoral fellowship as well that I will be explaining, but there is 8-year rule in terms of experience in PF, postdoctoral fellowships. I am coming to that point. Just I want to finish with staff exchanges. Budget I told already. The call will stay opens till 16th of April. Next year, you will have another call till 15th December starting 15th of December this year and will end 15th of April 2027. My colleague Krishna will be talking about some opportunities where you can find PF postdoc candidates, some, places, platforms where you can create consortiums. So just taking into account all those platforms where you can find staff exchange partners as well. As I said, we will be providing different info sessions about staff exchanges soon, but I will very quickly pass to doctoral networks, not to lose time. Doctoral networks is another opportunity, another call under MSCA. This is a very nice call as well, but the main difference between staff exchanges and doctoral networks, I can tell you that in staff exchanges, you are creating a consortium for research, of course, and you are seconding the staff in the consortium. But for doctoral networks, again, you need to set up a consortium with EU members and associated countries altogether. Again, at least 3 institutions need to come together. But here the aim is to recruit PhD candidates. So we are not talking about secondments. We may add some secondment options, but the main aim is to writing a proposal with the experienced researchers in the consortium and to recruit unexperienced PhD candidates, doctoral candidates in the funded doctoral networks. So again, there is one consortium. Again, there is a research project at the center, and the supervisors, the experienced researchers are doing research around this research project because this is a very innovative research project, because this is a very original one, which is funded hopefully by European Commission. And then these supervisors and the consortium members are advertising the PhD and of course the PhD positions to recruit PhD candidates under these PhD research projects. So the project is created by experienced researchers for doctoral candidates. So the experienced researchers are recruiting doctoral candidates in their doctoral network project. That's very shortly the aim. The minimum condition is having, again, minimum 3 entities from at least 3 member states or associated countries. Let me say you can add many more participants, but in this minimum condition, you have to add at least 1 member state, which is, 27 member states that I show you the list, Germany, France, I don't know. And then, of course, you can add associated countries. Egypt will be there, of course, but you can add Turkey, Albania, many other associated countries in the proposal. Plus, you can add many associated partners, which will mean that they will not be beneficiary, because beneficiary means that those institutions in the consortium will recruit at least 1 PhD candidate in the project. So if anyone, I don't know, any institution, any institution in US, in Canada, I don't know, in China, who would like to be partnering in doctoral networks, they will not be the beneficiaries, but they might be associated partners, and they can create some summer schools, they can offer some teaching staff. So such kind of extra things, conferences, workshops. So for those things, you can add many more associated partners. If you have never written a proposal under doctoral networks, maybe it's a good idea to be a partner in the proposal first, and then you will get some experience to write the proposal later on. We will see. Amr already mentioned there are 3 different implementation modes. I will be saying very quickly that the general rules that we have been talking about are standard doctoral networks. But if you would like to have more specialized action type, like industrial doctorates, you can, of course, be a partner or coordinator of industrial doctorates, which will mean that this doctoral industrial doctorates, again, PhD candidates will be recruited. These recruitment will be done either in academia or non-academia, but at least half time of the fellowship needs to be passed under the supervision of industry, which is very important, so that the aim will be reached. The applicant or the PhD candidate will be seeing what's happening in academia and also non-academia. And joint doctorates is another type. So you are here being a partner or coordinator of a joint doctorate, and you are again training the PhD candidate in this proposal project. But this candidate will get, at the end of the fellowship, will get a diploma, which is a joint diploma, can be, or double diploma, or multiple diploma, but from 3 different institutions in the consortium. That's the reason why the name is joint doctorates. So there are specific rules under this. As I said, in May, we can have a more detailed session altogether. I just want to show you this funding here, because for a PhD candidate, funding is very nice. I don't know the funding rates for PhD candidates, but I'm from Turkey and I know that those numbers are really nice in terms of PhD candidate. Of course, this living funding allowance will be multiplied with a correction coefficient factor for each country, which is 70% over, 70% for Egypt and for Turkey. So there will be an automatic calculation in the papers, in the submission forms. No worries about that, but still the budget is very nice for a PhD candidate if this PhD is funded and will be trained in Egypt, I can say. Okay, co-fund. Very shortly again, this is a funding scheme because European Commission is asking to institutions who are located in member states and associated countries. European Commission is asking like that, please create a funding program for yourself, or please try to make your national funding program to be more international one, and let's fund this fellowship program together. As European Union and Egypt together, we will fund it together. So it can be just for three researchers. I think it will be very low in numbers, but for 10 researchers, 20 researchers, or maybe 100 researchers. I think maximum number will be 100 like that. So it can be as large as you wish, or as small as you wish, but this will be a funding scheme which is funded by EU and by the national country like Egypt. It can be either doctoral training or postdoctoral training, but only for 2026. For 2027, there will be another opportunity for postdoctoral fellowships, which will be named as Choose Europe. I am coming to that point. So the call is open now. In April, it will be closed, so there is still limited time. So maybe, yes, and I cannot tell you that this is a consortium because it is mono-beneficiary, so Egyptian institution needs to draft the proposal by themselves. Of course, associated partners can be added so that the recruited researchers will be seconded, for instance, but still the Egyptian institution needs to write the proposal and submit it till April. If it is not possible, the next year the call will be there again with a nice budget. Don't think that this year's budget is just halved because this needs to be 2027. There's a typo here. So next year, there will be another call to Europe. So this will be a similar budget. So co-fund will be for doctoral candidates, and Europe will be for postdoctoral candidates, I can say. I already mentioned those. So co-funding opportunity is there for you. You can create your own funding programs, or you can just turn your national funding program into an international one. Okay. Commission says that there is this minimum living allowance for the researchers. So you need to keep your promises that you will be providing the budget taken from European Commission directly to the researcher. Plus, you can add some RTN, research training and networking, plus management costs. So allowances can be added to your proposal, and you can write a proposal for 60 months project, and you can recruit PhD or doctoral candidates in your proposal. I told you that in 2027, there will be a call named as Choose Europe. So co-fund scheme will be divided into 2. Co-fund will be just for doctoral candidates, creating funding schemes, fellowship programs for doctoral candidates, and Choose Europe will be totally created for funding postdoctoral fellowships. Here, the rules will be changing because European Commission is trying something innovative, saying that there will be co-funding mechanism with Egypt and EU, as an example I'm giving. And for 2 to 3 years, European Commission will be funding the researcher. And then Commission will ask Egyptian institutions to fund the same researcher 2 more years. So there will be co-funding opportunity here. Of course, this will be for postdoctoral level, we said. So there will be a maximum limit writing the proposal. You can think about that. Still, there is time till 2027 for postdoctoral programs. And the numbers already announced in the work program, which is published for 2026 and 2027. So if you think to write a proposal like that, I think we need to organize another event for that. For all those details, just or reach me for any questions. And ARM knows very well already. Please contact your national contact point, all those details as well. Finally, thesis. It's a very nice program, but it's not a research program. I can say that it is coordination and support action. It is nice because it encourages everyone. I can say that the children, I can say the high school kids, I can say that university students, anyone in the public can be encouraged to be a researcher at the end of the day, because European Commission would like to show that researchers are among us. Researchers is a profession that can be done by everyone at the end of the day. That's the reason why European Commission created a European Researchers' Night. So every year, last Friday of September is celebrated as European Researchers' Night in Europe. So being a part of European research area, Egypt will be eligible to submit proposals for MSCA citizens. Not this year. The call will be opened every 2 years. So the next year, any institution or a consortium of institutions can come together in Egypt, because not more than, 1, 2, 3 proposals are funded. But I know that in every country, at least there is this opportunity of celebration. So maybe creating a consortium together and writing a researchers' night or citizens project together and celebrate it in September with the European Commission budget in Egypt will be good. Plus, throughout the year, you will be organizing researchers at school events to show the kids what research means, what researchers are doing. So it's an ongoing project for 1 or 2 years, depending on the proposal that you will be writing. Maximum budget will be like 350,000 euros. It is not a big budget, but the budget is there just to make some celebrations and also some visits to the school. So the amount of the things that you will be doing will be limited in the project, but the budget is there. You can, of course, add some matching funds on it for citizens. I would like to show you the deadlines. Some calls are already open, like staff exchanges and like co-fund. But as I said, next year they will open again. So just keep in mind. And for PF, I'm coming with more and more details. For doctoral networks, I'm very sure we will have another session in May, because the call will be open 28th of May and will close in November. You have whole summer to find partners. And of course, if you would like to write as a coordinator, it's more than welcome as well. And for citizens, you need to get prepared till 2027. You have time. This year, the call is not open. Every 2 years, there is one call for MSCA citizens. And which documentation I am taking all those information is, the reply is work program MSCA, because every 2 years the work program is updated and we know what will happen in 2026 and 2027 thanks to this work program. I will be sending my presentations to you. You will see a link to work program. Just check any action that you are really interested in. But keep in mind that every time when one call is open, the same day, European Commission under Funding and Tenders portal is publishing a guide for applicants, which is also very important to read and check, so that you will know the details of these actions. And there are many other documentation that you can check before submitting your proposal. I will take just 30 seconds to see if you have any questions to me about those actions. MSCA actions like staff exchanges, like doctoral networks, or like citizens, like co-funds. I think I replied age restriction question for staff exchanges, because there is no restriction in terms of age or in terms of experience. For doctoral candidates or doctoral networks, I have to tell you that there is no age restriction who are writing the proposal, because they need to be the experienced researchers who are writing the proposal and submitting the proposal. But the ones who are using the fund are the doctoral candidates. So those who will be recruited under a funded DN, doctoral network, needs to be the be the candidates who did not get their PhD diploma yet. That is the restriction. And what about the IP generated during the exchange period? Is it managed internally between the institutions, or does MSCA provide specific guidelines for this? Of course, and I can tell you that. There is this guide for applicants and the project proposal template I will be showing you for postdoctoral fellowships in a while. In my second presentation, you will see that there are such kind of questions or titles, subtitles under each template, and you have to explain what will happen in terms of IP generated. Because under, for instance, postdoctoral fellowships, I will be telling you that you need to move from one country to another, from one institution to another. So you need to explain how the IP will be shared. It can stay somewhere, it can go somewhere, or it can be totally equally shared. So this will depend on the strategy of those institutions. Of course, it needs to be compatible with the EU rules, but you need to explain what will happen in your proposal. So just not giving any detail about that will make the evaluators a bit, angry, and will loosen the score. You will appreciate if you can share the presentations. For sure, you will receive my presentation and my colleague's presentation at the end of today's session. Anything else? Any question? I don't know. If you have, please go ahead, write in chat box. I will also be continuing in replying in a written format, but my colleagues already started to reply as I see. That's very good. Thank you very much. Otherwise, I'm passing to our main topic of today. I'm checking the time at the time. It's postdoctoral fellowships. Okay. With this session, in 20 minutes, I will be giving you the main features. And then my colleague will be showing you how you can find really talented researchers, how you can match them with the institutions. And then I will be giving you how we can draft a proposal, because there's a template, very concrete template with 10 pages, and you need to submit it to European Commission before the deadline. I will be explaining you this. And then we'll be showing you the very nice funding and tender portal, and with a really nice structure where to find where. We will be showing you to make the job easier for you if you want to submit a proposal for this year's call. But please keep in mind that the call is not open yet. It will be open 9th of April and it will be closed on 9th of September. So the structure that we will be showing you is last year's structure, but the things are not changing a lot every year. But only you need to find the exact call of this year to submit your proposal. So please do not try to submit your proposal as soon as we finish today's session. You need to wait the current or the updated version of everything till the 9th of April, the day of the publication of the call. Everything will be renewed by European Commission, by Research Executive Agency, and you will see funding and tenders portal with updated documentation. Okay. I have been talking about many actions, but now postdoctoral fellowships is a bit different because it is individual-driven action. What does it mean? We need one researcher who are writing the proposal. This is not a consortium, but of course, this one researcher needs to find institution or institutions to submit the proposal. Why institution? I said this for European fellowships because for this fellowship, this individual researcher who has the doctoral degree already needs to move from one country to another. This is obligatory. You cannot write a proposal within Egypt, within your country. You need to move from Egypt either to Europe or to another part of the world, or as Egyptian institutions, you need to invite researchers from the world to Egypt or from Europe to Egypt. So those researchers need to move, that's for sure. So this movement will depend actually on the action that you're writing the proposal. It can be either European fellowship or global fellowship. I am coming to that difference in a while, but I can tell you that it is still bottom-up approach. So any researcher working on any type of research can submit a proposal. International mobility is required. As I said, they need to be mobile. And there is this rule by the call deadline. Researchers who are submitting the proposal with an institution must not have resided or carried out the main activity in the host country for more than 12 months within the last 3 years. This is a very nice rule which is implemented under postdoctoral fellowships and also doctoral networks and also co-fund, because European Commission would like to fund the researchers who are moving from one country to another, because MSCA is a mobility program. That's for sure. So keeping these main rules in mind, I can tell you that there are two types: European Fellowship and Global Fellowship. What do we mean with European Fellowships? We do mean that there is one postdoctoral researchers, there is one host institution in Europe, in Egypt, we can say, and there is one supervisor. So all together, they are writing a proposal. And this postdoctoral fellow, let me say, researcher, is moving from anywhere in the world to Egypt, from anywhere in Europe to Egypt, to work with an Egyptian institution. And there needs to be a supervisor who will be supervising that researcher in that Egyptian institution. And this Egyptian institution can be an academic university or non-academic institution like Siemens, I saw in the list of ARM presented, or any non-academic institution who is carrying out research in Egypt. So there is no difference. Any sector is acceptable, but postdoctoral researcher needs to find a supervisor in that institution to be supervised under European MSCA European Fellowships. So the researcher will be moving from anywhere in the world to Egypt to write a proposal for European Fellowships. But you can also hear that any researcher in Egypt can leave the country to go to Europe with European Fellowships, because this is European Fellowships and Egypt is a part of European research area now, thanks to being associated country. So the researchers in Egypt can move from Egypt to Europe. So it's vice versa. Either you can invite the researcher to your country, which is good because the funding will come to Egyptian institution if you invite the researcher to Egypt. And there is no nationality rule, so anyone can submit a proposal. But if this is a reintegration, which means that any researcher who would like to come back to Europe or come back to Egypt, there is this nationality rule saying that either they need to be Egyptian institution or must be nationals of EU member states or associated countries, or long-term residents of those countries. What does it mean, long-term residents? At least 5 years they need to be passed in those countries. So there is this difference if there is this reintegration, I can say. And for European Fellowships, I can tell you that there is no obligatory returning phase. This is the main difference between EF and Global Fellowships, I can say. And the project duration can be from 12 months to 24 months, depending on the applicant and the supervisor and the institution's agreement. I think 24 months is very nice to write if you get the funding, but of course, for 24 months, you need to explain what you will be doing during that duration. Okay. And this rule, I already said, not carrying out main activity in the host country in Egypt for more than 12 months within the last year. So any researcher who left Egypt 1 month ago cannot come back with European Fellowships because the eligibility rule will not be there. So more than 12 months within the last 3 years rule is the mobility rule of postdoctoral fellowships. Be careful with that. Okay, global fellowships, I can tell you. This is here. Here there is one institution, one researcher again, but two institutions in the game, because Egyptian researchers or any researcher who already passed more than 5 years in Egypt with another nationality can leave Egypt to go to USA, to Canada, to Japan, to New Zealand, I don't know, to any country out of Europe, meaning member states or associated countries out of them. They can go from 12 months to 24 months to there, and then they can come back to Egypt because transfer of knowledge needs to be there. So that the institution will have the project budget to supervise the researcher in Egypt and also in the partner organization outside of Europe, let me say in USA or I don't know, Canada, Japan, whatever you wish. So 2 supervisors are there in both countries, and the one researcher is trained thanks to those supervisors. And when the researcher is going to GF partner, Global Fellowship Partner, again the mobility rule is there. So the researcher should not have passed more than 12 months in the last 3 years in that country. The rule needs to be filled with the deadline of the proposal, I can say. I'm just a bit speeding up. I would like to tell you that the mobility condition is there, plus the research experience. I'm coming back to the question in the chat box in Q&A section. There is not an age restriction, but there is research experience restriction since a couple of years, because the submission numbers is huge, and I think European Commission would like to just limit the submission numbers, saying that if you are experienced more than 8 years after getting your PhD diploma, you need to stop submitting. But of course, there are some exceptions like maternity leave, paternity leave, or the period spent outside research, the period spent in administrative work. So those can be discounted. So 8-year rule should be respected while you are submitting a proposal with a researcher. So try to find, as an Egyptian institution, try to find a talented researcher who will submit a proposal to come to Egypt, or just to leave Egypt to go to Canada, I don't know, and come back thanks to Global Fellowships. So these rules needs to be respected in order to be eligible to submit a proposal. I would like to tell you that secondment option and non-academic placement option are there. Secondment is done within the project duration. So the researcher can be seconded anywhere in the world, anywhere in Egypt, anywhere in Europe. So any researcher who came to, I don't know, Helwan University to carry out research thanks to European fellowships can be seconded to non-academic institution in Egypt still, or any other university in Denmark, in Germany, in Turkey as an associated country. So secondment option is there, but this needs to be justified in the proposal, saying that this secondment is really useful for this proposal. Non-academic placement is another option, but the main difference is you do not write in the proposal the non-academic placements during the fellowship period. You are adding extra amount of time up to 6 months after the end of the fellowship. And this cannot be happening in academic sector. This needs to be happening in non-academic sector, because European Commission would like to encourage the researchers to take part in an academic sector. Also, thanks to these fellowships, this is the main difference, I can say. The budget, I will not be pronouncing all the numbers, but I can tell you that this living allowance and mobility allowance, if the researcher is married or has a partner to live with, or a kid or someone dependent on him, her, will get all those numbers per month. But this number will be multiplied with Egypt correction coefficient factor, 70%. For the rest, they are fixed amounts, they are unit cost. You do not need to work on it. On the forms, it will be visible. Just you need to decide how many months this researcher will be working. And these are the amounts given to the institution, because this institution will be taking care of research training, networking of this researcher with the supervisor, and institutional costs can be spent by the host institution, not only in Egypt, but also in Canada, in Japan, if this is a global fellowship. I will be talking more about the project template, part B1, B2, and part A. My colleague Christina will be explaining. So I skipped this slide, but I would like to tell you that it is not a very flexible project to write. Okay, the rules are there and you need to follow, and you can be flexible with your research topic, what you will be do. But you need to follow the structure of the proposal template. It is just 10-page proposal, but you need to give as many information as possible. Thanks to the template given to you, I will be showing you the whole template in my next presentation. Before stopping here, I would like to tell you that the budget is good for European Fellowship, but the competition is very good as well. So in total, almost 400 million euros is there for this year's call, which will be opening in 9th of April. and closing 9th of September. Please try to find the researcher, the talented researcher who will be invited to Egypt to work with you, or any Egyptian researchers who will be going to non-European countries thanks to global fellowships, and try to write a proposal together. And after 5 months, after September, February, you will get the results, hopefully the positive results to start your proposal, the project to implement in Egypt for the next year. We will be very happy to share the numbers in next year's sessions that we will be organizing with Academy of Scientific Research and Technology with ARM. We will be very happy. Thank you. I know I speak a bit fast, but I hope it was understandable and it was okay for you to follow. But as I said, do not hesitate to send your questions on Q&A box. I will be happy to reply them. If I haven't replied orally, I will send replies in a written way. And I will be here after Christina's presentation to show you the details of part B, how to write the proposal. I owe to you.
Thank you, Tuba. That was very interesting, and I'm sure the participants today will have even more questions also after the next sessions, and after we're getting also practical in drafting how to draft the postdoctoral fellowship. So with that, I would like to introduce our next speaker, who have been also very supportive to our research community in Egypt, but also in the region, Christina Gomez. And she is going to speak about attracting researchers to Egyptian institutions. Christina, the floor is yours.
Thank you, and thank you, Tukba, for the very comprehensive presentations already on the different actions. So what I'm going to try to do now is to guide you through some of the different tools that are available for you, either if you choose to be part of a collaborative project, or if you choose to be a host institution for a postdoctoral fellowship. So let me share my screen. Okay. And I hope it works. Now it should be full screen. Is that correct? Yes? Okay.
Yes.
So the focus initially is to show you how you can attract researchers to your institutions, but you will see that actually the tools that I'm going to explain to you are also valid for you as an institution to find partners, because the instruments are the same one. They will give you different possibilities for you to use them. So ideally, as researchers, you know that there are many possibilities for you to be in contact with different other colleagues. So basically, you need to try to be very active at all the networking activities that you're doing, where you are presenting your results, going to thematic conferences, for instance, and workshops, but also these kind of informative sessions as the one that we're having today. And obviously, you may have natural collaborators, people that you normally work with in your thematic area and that will be willing to collaborate with you in this adventure of building up a new project. And obviously, if you are already embarked in these European projects I mentioned, then you can also build new projects with the ones that are already existing. Now, the tools that we're going to talk about today are mainly 4 of them. Well, 3 of them, because the last one is actually to contact your NCP for any questions that you have, because he might be aware of many of activities that are taking place right now, or possible consortia that are being built. So basically, we will go through the funding tenders portal, more in details in the case of how to prepare and to submit a proposal, the MSCA matchmaking platform that will allow you to look for partners, specifically more for the collaborative projects, and also Euraxis that has different tools for you to either show yourself and be visible as an institution, but also find partners. So I think it is important when we start in this European dimension to really define a strategy internally for the institution. You really need to look at what are your strengths, which one are your thematic and excellent groups that could be working on this very competitive funding scheme, and can you position your institution to be very thematic, for example, working on a very specific field, although we know all fields are possible within MSCA being a bottom-up funding program. Therefore, it's important that you, as we mentioned, try to activate all your international contact by being active in your social media, by being active in all the activities that are taking place in your research field, and use all these available materials that we're going to talk about. And then remember something that has been mentioned before, and is that these calls are annual. Therefore, if you submit a proposal and you are not successful, you will get the feedback from the evaluators. And this feedback will really help you to improve your proposal and try to be more competitive the year before. And I think there's also something that is very important. While you are learning in this process, I think not a single effort is lost, because on the way you might actually look for different participants or find other collaborators that you might not be thinking of. So the funding and tenders portal. This is the portal where all the calls you will have to apply for using this system, okay? So be aware that all the official documentation is available there for you to consult in all the calls. When you go to your specific call, and I will show you how to get to it in my second presentation, you will see that there's a part that says partner search. And that's where you need to look for different institutions that are somehow seeking for expertise, and they say, I want to participate in this collaborative project, and this is my expertise. Or they have published their own expression of interest, meaning I am interested in participating in this, I have this expertise, and I am interested in hosting a researcher in an Egyptian institution. So the funding and tenders portal will be the first tool to be aware of. And then the second one, specifically linked to MSCA, it's the Radiance matchmaking platform. So Radiant is a project actually that is funded by the European Commission that tried to support the national contact point to improve their services and to reach out in an even more professional way to the audience, to the research community. They do create a lot of very useful material for you to prepare your proposals. And they also have this website, this matchmaking platform, where you as an institution can include your institutional profile, your expertise, your hosting expressions of interest to allow researchers to connect with you. Okay, I think this is very important, and you have all the links to the different platforms so that you can go have a look, registered, and sell your idea, meaning include your information on your topic that you are interested in participating. Then the third one will be Euraxis. And Euraxis, I don't know if you're aware of it, actually this is a pan-European initiative that now gathers 43 countries that work together basically to support mobile researchers and researchers who are growing in their research career development. So the idea is to contribute to an open market of researchers and to the creation of an attractive European research area. It was launched many, many years ago, right now, back in 2004 with a different name, but the main idea was to support mobile researchers in all that has to do with the administrative encounters when they're traveling from one country to another to do their research. This really has grown, and the mandate has grown to support career development as well. And apart from these 43 countries in and around Europe, you also have 9 regional worldwide hubs including one in Euraccess Africa. And you can consult all the different activities, promotional activities that are also available for you. So this Euraccess platform and portal is a one-stop shop included in the Area Talent platform that really unites all the different resources available for researchers. And what can you find here as an institution? You can find the section Jobs and Opportunities. And this, the dimension of Euraccess, it's really enormous. It does include over 8,800 jobs offers worldwide and over 500 hosting offers available. So if you go into the Jobs and Opportunities section, you will see actually that there's a section that say hosting offer. What is the idea here? To show your expertise as an institution so that the researchers worldwide that access this platform can see what you're looking for and can see what you propose. So I actually had a look at this last night while finalizing my presentation, and I wanted to see there were different offers from Egypt, and I was happy to see that at least one is there available. And now is the right time to create your own account. It's very easy. You go into Euraccess, you log in and you create your account and you include all the information, because the call, as Tuba has explained, will open in April, so in less than a month. And now you will see this number of hosting offer increasing day by day. Right now there were around 400 and something, but possibly in the next 15 days, there will be over 600 or 700. So my suggestion for you is to go have a look, include the information on your institution. What it's displayed there on the screen is the information of the institution in Egypt who already include their willingness to host researchers from any place in the world to be part of, to prepare together an MSCA proposal for the postdoctoral fellowship call of 2026. So it is important to register, and it is important to get yourself visible there. Why? Because all these hosting offers are available for 1,000 of researchers, and we can also disseminate them in the project Euraccess worldwide. So apart from being visible, I think there's also an important step that the Commission also created years ago, and that was the HR Excellence in Research Awards. The idea of this award provided by the Commission is actually to recognize the excellent research performing organizations who have demonstrated a commitment to implement the principles of the European Charter for Researchers. The idea is that you improve your internal recruitment, training for researchers, and many internal aspects that will make much more competitive and attractive your institution to researchers again worldwide. This institution from Egypt can also have a look at this. There are guidelines from the Commission who can show you how to start this process. This is an internal process. It's very interesting, but obviously it means that there's a plan for action that it's included there, that it will involve different sections of an institution, the human researchers department, the group directors department as well. So it is important to understand that there's a plan of action that will last more or less a few months before starting the procedure internally. But this will show that you are really advocating for an open, transparent, and merit-based recruitment. And then this logo, that is a very nice one, will be included together with any of your hosting offers in the portal. And obviously, you can also show this as an improvement of your human resources internal procedures. And worldwide, there are over 700 institutions that have been granted with the logo. Now, I think it's also important, and now is the time to become very active and also know what matchmaking events are coming up. For example, in the context of Euraccess Worldwide, that I also participate in this initiative, we normally do every year matchmaking activities with different institutions and countries in and around Europe to host and to present their hosting offers for the postdoctoral call that is open, so 2026 in this case. So what we do is we normally centralize the information on the NCPs. So we will contact Arm very shortly, possibly in the next 15 days to a month. And the idea is to defined specific slots for the different countries. You can see that in the 2025 edition, 12 countries participated, and we presented over 50 hosting offers. And the idea is to show the researchers worldwide what is, your excellent, what does your excellent institutions can offer them. So be aware that this will come out possibly at the end of May. And again, the funding and tenders portal, this is where you will find the information of your NCPs who are, as in the case of ARM, very well instructed on the different aspects of the program, but also the different opportunities and activities that are going on around it. So from my side, this is my last presentation. And I will say that again, I know we are maybe running a little bit late, but I'm happy to take any questions in the chat myself. Thank you.
Thank you, Christina. I think we have a couple of questions now. Perhaps we can take a couple of them now, and then we can go to the next presentation.
Yes, sure. I also saw some of them. Maybe we can reply orally, which will be easier for everyone. Christina, I will tell you the ones that are forwarded to you, but I see from Mani, could you clarify whether there are any age restrictions or specific requirements for postdoctoral researchers who plan to travel to Europe? There is no age restriction in terms of postdoctoral fellowships, but there is this 8 years rule in terms of experience years. So as soon as you get your PhD diploma, you will start to count this 8 years duration. But as I showed you in my presentation, and I will send you my presentation, there are some exceptions, like the time that you passed out of research. This can be discounted. Also, paternal leave, maternity leave, those exceptions will not be counted for this 8 years rule, I can say. Does it mean Egyptian institutions? Ahmed Fatih is asking, does it mean Egyptian nationality is eligible for a global fellowship application? Yes, of course, because Egypt is an associated country, and like member states, they have the similar conditions in terms of applications. And the return phase should be to Egypt or can be to any member country. Yes, this can be to any country in EU member states or associated countries, but you need to find institution before you leave the country. So while drafting your proposal, so the hosting institution will be that country and that institution in Europe or in Egypt. So you will be writing your proposal with that institution, with that country. So be careful about that. But yes, your return phase can be either Egypt or any country in member states or associated countries. And for MSCA Postdoctoral Fellowship, can the host institution from the UK? Yes, because UK is an associated country now, not a member state anymore, but like Egypt, like Turkey, like Albania, UK is an associated country to Horizon Europe. So yes, you can write the proposal with UK, and this can be your host institution. Yes, UK included in this fund. Another one also asked. I think I replied all of them, but please try to write your questions if you have any more. And if you didn't understand well, we can re-explain at the end of the session. Arne, would you like me to continue?
Yes, please do. Yeah.
Okay, I'm just sharing my slides in full screen. Please warn me if you do not see them. Otherwise, I would like to show you how to write the proposal, because we have been talking about a concrete proposal, and this is a competitive and the rivals are big. So I can tell you that you need to write a really nice proposal as a researcher, and as Egyptian institutions, you need to complement this research project. You need to at least help the researcher in terms of implementation phase, impact phase, of course, the excellence phase, because I can tell you that the template is comprised of 3 sections that I will be showing in a while for postdoctoral fellowships I'm talking about. But for each action, there is another template which is published by European Commission on the same day with the publication of those calls. Just keep in mind that. You all know now that we are trying to enhance the creative and innovative potential of researchers who are holding a PhD, so who are postdoc already. And so we are trying to encourage them to write a proposal to acquire new skills in terms of international, interdisciplinary, intersectoral mobility. So this is the main aim. So writing the proposal will be shaped around this main aim. There is this part B1 and part B2. And all those parts can be downloaded thanks to the forms that Christina will be showing after me, but under the funding and tender portals that we already showed you. And there is this part A where you type all the information in funding and tenders portal under the call that you will be submitting the proposal. Okay, let's check what needs to be written under part B1 and part B2, which is your proposal. Part B1 is the famous 10-page template, which includes excellence, impact, implementation sections, but many other subsections. Also, I will be showing those things. And part B2 is your CV, is the capacities of organizations section. Tables there are where the organizations, if it is a global fellowship, it's 2 organizations, you know. If it is European fellowship, it is 1 organization that's hosting you, plus some ethical aspects, security aspects, and letter of commitment under if you're going for global fellowship. So those extra things needs to be submitted under part B2. I will be very quickly talking about some details about resubmission rule, because you need to be careful about submitting your proposal. If this is a proposal just written 1-2 days and you do not believe that it will get 80% out of 100 as a score, please do not submit it, because if you get lower than 80%, the next year you will not be allowed to submit it. The submission will be restricted. Of course, you can submit it by changing the institution, the location, but you need to change the whole proposal because of that. So be careful about that. It needs to be original. So the proposal with the same research objectives, with the same work plan, submitted for different researchers by the same host institution will not be that original. So the first one submitted will be accepted. So be careful about that. The proposal needs to be complete. As I said, just writing it 1-2 days will not be okay. Just write it in detail with the template that we will be showing you. Letter of commitment, very important for global postdoctoral fellowships, because European Commission would like to see the institution in Canada, in Japan, in New Zealand, I don't know. So would like to see that this institution is aware of the responsibility. So letter of commitment needs to be there. And non-academic placement is also important. If you're including a non-academic placement, this needs to be in non-academic placement. And this should be very well explained and clarified in the proposal. This is funding and tenders portal. Christina will be showing you details. Part A and B you will find over there. Part A will be filled in electronic forms, and part B will be read in a Word document or RTF document, then turned to PDF document and uploaded under this link, under PF call section. And it will be submitted electronically under funding and tenders portal. But please be careful about the current template. I cannot show you the current template because it is not published date. On 9th of April morning, we can share with you via all means. But today I will be focusing on last year's submission documentation. As I said, it will be similar. Of course, there might be some slight change. So be careful by using the current and updated version of the years. It's 10 pages. There are many rules in it, practical rules like minimum font size, using the font size in the tables, so the margins. So please follow all those rules, because European Commission would like to receive projects in the same format so that one person will not be advantaged and the other will not be disadvantaged. So be careful with that. Evaluators will be also very careful about these things. So do not send an 11-page proposal. The last page will not be read by the evaluators. This is very strict in terms of rules. Evaluation criteria is already mentioned in work program, so we know the evaluation criteria thanks to work program, which is published already. Excellence, impact, implementation there. And the new rule is that out of 5, each applicant needs to get 3, minimum 3 to get the funding. But I can tell you that you need to get higher than 90 over 100 to get the funding. When I say you, it's either researcher or the institution because they are writing the proposal together. And you need to be excellent enough to write the proposal and get really high marks because the competition is high, really. So you will see 50% for excellence weight, 30% for impact weight, and 20% for implementation weight. But I do personally think that those are, you need to be perfect in each section to get the funding. So seeing that, okay, implementation is 20% weight, so I can write it very quickly, don't need to focus on it. So please don't think about that. And after us, Ayman Saber, our postdoctoral fellowship holder, will give you more detail about how he got the funding already. I'm sure he will share very nice details, very nice experiences with you in writing the proposal. For part B2, contrary to part B1, there is no page limit, but yes, CV needs to be just like around 5 pages, and capacity of participating organizations, there are tables that you will be filling. There is this letter of commitment you will be sharing, so there is technical description you will be sharing. I think we already mentioned, don't miss the call deadline. Don't select the wrong type action, because if you want to apply European Fellowship, you need to choose that one, not the global one. Eligibility requirements are so important. There is no age limit, but there is experience limit with 8 years. So be careful with that. Check with your national contact point arm before submitting the proposal, because you will spend many effort on writing the proposal. So be careful that you are eligible or not as a researcher. And be careful as an institution, be careful with the researcher you have invited to Egypt. Don't mix up the host organization or the partner organization that is visited under global fellowships. Basic information should be there, so be careful with the 10-page template that I will be showing you. Secondments, non-academic placements, I try to explain you the difference. So be careful in explaining in the proposal, in justifications. Do not miss the letter of commitment. Of course, those are the rules. I don't think that letter of commitment will be dropped this year, but we will see if it's really needed. I think it's needed because in the work program it is already mentioned, but in guide for applicants there will be more details. And the font size is also important, otherwise you will be penalized in writing many more words compared to the other competitions, so be careful about the fonts. Okay, guide for applicant, as I said, will be published on the first day of the publication of the call. This is from last year, and we have a very nice handbook created by MSCA Radiance project. Many colleagues helped CPs to write this handbook. So check the handbook from 2025, but also for 2026, there will be a new updated version. It will be helping you a lot, because it will guide you what to write where in your proposal. Here I will be showing you in the next 8 to 10 pages slides. I will be showing you what is expected from the researcher and from the hosting institution to write in the proposal within 10 pages. You will see that there are many things which is asked to you to write in the proposal, but you have only 10 pages. So be careful about giving as many detail as possible, but not more than that, because you have page limits. Okay, let's start with excellence, then impact and implementation. Excellence part is the part that you're showing how excellent your project is. Because yes, excellence is, the MSCA is under excellence pillar, is really important. Here you need to describe the quality and pertinence of your objectives, and you need to give the state of the art, because not only you but many other researchers might be working on this research topic or already researched that topic before. So you need to show what the state of the art in the Europe and also in globally in the world. So after giving the state of the art, you need to show them that you are proposing something excellent and you need to work on this project with those objectives. So trying to giving to all the objectives here. And each research objective ideally should correspond to a work package that you will be giving in the implementation part in the third section of your proposal. So you need to create some links with the work packages here. And of course, you need to explain the extent which the proposed work, okay, it should be ambitious, but of course, it needs to be verifiable and achievable and manageable. So the blue ones that we have been writing here in the handbook as a national contact points, the ones that we would like to propose you as an explanation, because in the template you will see only the black sentences, black subtitles, and sometimes the applicants really have difficulty to explain what will I explain here. Okay, the question is open, but to what extent I need to explain. So the blue sentences will be helping you write what and what not, again, due to the page limits. And then soundness of the proposed methodology is very important, because the Commission is expecting a proposal, an interdisciplinary or multidisciplinary proposal. Gender dimension should be there. Also, some other diverse aspects should be there. So this is the section where you will explain this interdisciplinary and multidisciplinary of the project. If this is not an interdisciplinary or multidisciplinary, you need to justify again why it is not and why you do not prefer to that. Some secondments, non-academic placements, or short visits can be included in the proposal. So you can be specific here about how this will help this interdisciplinarity of your proposal. And the methods and disciplines to pursue in the objectives, again, under this excellence subject, needs to be explained, because you can here again explain the different disciplines that you are bringing together in your proposal. As I said, gender dimension should be there, but other diverse aspects also should be there, which are very important for European Commission. The questions related to the content of your planned research and innovation activities needs to be there. Also, I mean, you need to take into account some characteristics of social and cultural features in the country that you're implementing the proposal, or in the region. You need to explain there. Open science is one of the most important things in terms of European Commission. So please be specific about how you will be as open as possible in your proposal. So the repositories maybe, or the open science practices that you will be following, like, I don't know, some registered reports, preprints, or all those sourcing things, how they will be managed in this section you will be giving. In the next subparagraph, you will be giving how this proposal will be supervised. So we know that the CV of the researcher is very important, but CV of the supervisor and CV of the institution is also very important. And the training and also two-way transfer of knowledge between the researcher and the host for European Fellowship is also important. But for global fellowships, I can say that this is three-way transfer of knowledge, because one researcher, two institutions are in the game. So you will be explaining how this transfer of knowledge will be there in the proposal. In this section, this MSCA guidelines on supervision is very helpful. You can check those documentation while writing this part of your proposal. As I said, for European fellowships, two-way transfer of knowledge, but for global fellowship, it is three-way transfer of knowledge. So be specific about which action you are choosing, and try to show that there are many workshops, concrete seminars, online courses, I don't know, summer schools. So such kind of different concrete examples, because think that every researcher will be writing all those general ideas there. So try to be concrete about what you are planning for the next 12 to 24 months. If this is global fellowships, you will have 12 more months with the turning period, 36 months. So try to be concrete about what you are planning in terms of transfer of knowledge. Okay, and there are some tables that can be used. Of course, you can add your own tables in the page limits again. So you can explain here the rationale and added value of non-academic placement if you are planning. If not, it's okay, but as I said, this is optional. But secondment and non-academic placement needs to be justified in the proposal if you are planning in this 10-page template. And finally, under excellence, you will see that quality and appropriateness of the researcher's professional experience and competences and skills will be there. So you will try to summarize the experience you have accumulated before. So European Commission or the evaluators will think about why should we choose that researcher to implement, to host, or let me say, to have this proposal funded. So you will be explaining that your scientific background is very well developed so that this project can be implemented by you as a researcher with that host institution. So you will be trying to explain this under excellence section. As you saw, there are many subsections under excellence. For impact implementation, it's a bit less than excellence part. So I can tell you that 5 to 6 pages can be separated to excellence, depending on your proposal. Of course, there is no specific rule on that. Plus, you need to explain impact and implementation. For impact, when we say, this is European Union funding, so the impact should not only be to Egypt or to any country which is the researcher seconded, but to whole Europe plus to whole globe. So global challenges needs to be satisfied as well. So depending on the topic that you have chosen in your proposal, the credibility of the measures to enhance the career perspectives of the researcher needs to be explained, because this is career development project. So you need to show that some such kind of specific measures has been already taken with the supervisor, with the researcher, with the institution, and the career will be developed thanks to this project. You will be explaining those details. The impact on the researcher will be explained. And also the impact will be explained in terms of dissemination, exploitation, and communication. There are 2 different aspects that needs to be specified. There are many different examples under the handbook. You can check all those things, and you can create different tables to explain you what kind of dissemination activities you will be giving, I don't know, in the industry, in research fields, or anywhere else. Also, some communication activities can be used, needs to be used, and you will be giving concrete examples. Plus, some exploitation plan needs to be there to show to evaluators that you planned everything beforehand, because during the implementation phase, they need to be sure that the project results already communicated, disseminated, and exploited. IP, that was another question in Q&A. IP rights needs to be addressed in the proposal. So how you will be protecting, which institution will be taking care of what, how it will be separated or shared, let me say. There are some documentation, but in the grant agreement, there will be some parts. So you need to comply MSCA rules, but plus you need to explain what your institutions, both institutions in global part and in Egypt, needs to show how you will be sharing everything. So IP department of the institution needs to be maybe asked and maybe, let me say, consulted before writing this part of the proposal. And impact, the magnitude and importance of the project's contribution to the scientific, societal, and economic impacts. This is also important. You can subdivide 3 different parts, saying that this will be the scientific impact because this has not been researched before, or this part researched, but I will be researching that part. And this is very important for society. This is also very important for economy. If it is not, you can still give justification why it is not. I'm just coming to my last slide. So I saw your raised hand, but just give me just 2 more minutes to finish. I will take all questions. And the final part is quality and efficiency of the implementation. There are 2 different questions here. One of them is quality and effectiveness of the work plan, which means that you need to create a work plan here, showing some risks, the appropriateness of the efforts, and some work packages needs to be given there. Not very much detail, but of course you need to show the timing, because you are given either 12 to 24 months for European fellowships and plus 12 more months for global fellowships, which makes 36 months. So you need to show the evaluator that how you will pass that time with different work packages, like work package for management, work package for training, work package for your research. So you need to showcase this. And a Gantt chart will be very helpful because there is another section. I will be showing you this Gantt chart. It's a simple one. You do not have a very large page, one full page to show the Gantt chart, I guess, because as I said, this is a limited page. It's just a simple one to show the evaluator from which month to which month you will be doing what in the proposal. So please do not skip that part. And finally, quality and capacity of the host institutions and participating organizations like the partner organization in Canada, US, I don't know, wherever you would like to go under global fellowships. So their capacity needs to be addressed here, although in part B2 there is another tables that you will be sharing in terms of hosting institutions, but here you will be explaining what the capacity is offered by the host institutions, the infrastructure, some logistical facilities, things will be shortly given here. More detail will be given in part B2. So I think I covered everything that I mentioned here, but try to be honest, try to give all details. Do not be shy at the same time, because you need to show that you are competent as the researcher and the institution in Egypt is competent as an institution. Maybe in under global fellowship, the partnering institution in the other part of the world is competent enough. You need to show that all these three legs are very well combined, and you are the best person as the researcher who are writing the proposal with this Egyptian institution. So after submitting your proposal, you need to wait 5 more months because all proposals are evaluated in a panel with 3 different evaluators. And then I think around February of next year, you will receive the results and you will be asked when to start your proposal if you get the funding after the selection process. And you can choose the exact date when you will start to implement your proposal in a year. I already mentioned the call budget, calendar, evaluation, but I just wanted to show you as a summary slide of that. And I will be passing the whole questions in the chat box. I see some raised hands, but I'm not sure if it's okay to turn on the micros, but please, I owe to you to moderate that session. Meanwhile, I will be reading the questions maybe. If it is, I see that my colleague Christine already typing some answers, but if I see any unanswered question, I will be talking more. Thank you for your attention. I owe to you.
Thank you, Tuba. I believe we can group the questions later during by the end of the presentations, since we are running a little bit late. But please, for all researchers and participants in this webinar, keep sending the questions, and we will group them and answer them all at the end. And I believe after this valuable presentation, we perhaps deserve, and also our speakers deserve, a few minutes break. If that's okay with everyone, we'll pause for 5 minutes, if that's okay. Yeah, so yeah, feel free to stretch your legs or move around, and perhaps also for the researchers attending today, think about other questions that you would like to raise in the next session. And so the next sessions includes more how-to sessions and practical submissions process. And we will also have a first-hand success story and hear from a colleague, an Egyptian colleague who, Dr. Ayman Saber, who did it himself. He submitted a postdoctoral fellowship proposal and successfully awarded the grant, and I'm sure we will learn from his experience. So please stay connected, and we will be back in a few minutes. Okay, I think we may continue. So welcome back, everyone. Thanks for being here, and thanks also for rejoining us if you were disconnected for a few minutes. So in the first part of the event, we covered the opportunity itself, how an institution can position themselves, and how to draft a proposal. And now we move to the next practical step, how the proposal is actually submitted. And I'm pleased to welcome back Christina Gomez from Global Project, who will guide us through the submitting the postdoctoral fellowship proposal via the participant portal. Christina, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Okay, I'm going to try and share my screen again, and it seems to work. Okay, there it is. So, one second, and I close the chat. That's it. Okay, so I'm going to try to make it short, but this is, I have a lot of slides, but as you are going to be giving the presentation, the idea is to help you understand a little bit how the funding and tenders portals work. You have seen in previous presentations that the proposal is composed by part A, which is more the administrative part, and then part B, B1 and B2. And Tuba went into very comprehensive details of part B1. Now, the interesting thing is that everything is done online, meaning it is paperless, and you will just have to follow the different instructions that are included in the funding tenders portal. Now, as the call is not open this year, this is the reason why we cannot even do a demonstration live, which will be maybe be more interactive for you to see how it works. But we can show you via screenshots how you will be able to submit the proposal. So what I'm going to use again, and it's not surprising, is the material that has been produced by the NCPs, by the national contact points, in the framework of the project Radiance. So as you can see, a lot of useful information, handbooks and material to help you follow step by step the procedure to submit the proposal. So what I'm going to show you right now is basically how to fill in the part A, which is the more administrative one, and the different steps to follow. Again, it is very important to submit everything before the deadline. The suggestion will be to never leave this until the last minute, not until the last date, because the last submission details that I mentioned was that over 17,000 proposals were submitted to this 2025 call. And this means that maybe, the IT system can suffer if everybody leaves this for the last minute. So try to submit it as early as possible, and you will see that you can overwrite the proposal that you have already uploaded. Another recurrent question that we get is who submits the proposal, because we're talking about individual proposals. The thing here is that it can be either a person from the beneficiary, from the host institution, who's going to be recruiting the researcher in Egypt, and that can be the main supervisor, that can be the contact detail, the contact person from the EU grants office, for example, or it can be the researcher himself or herself who is applying together with this host institution in Egypt. So it can be both of them. This is something normally that is agreed with between the researcher who applies and the institution who will host. So this is the main EU funding and tenders portal, and there you have the link. You will see that what you need to identify, first of all, under funding, this is normally you have different ways to go and find your call. Under funding, you will have some filters that will bring you to the MSCA Postdoctoral Fellowship. What we show you on the screen is the two previous calls. Right now, the 2026 is still for comment, so you will not have all the information there that is needed for you to prepare the proposal. But as it doesn't change too much from year to year, I think this will give you very comprehensive information on how to prepare it. So Once you go into your postdoctoral fellowship 2026, when it opens, you will see a lot of information about the call itself just by clicking on the first part of the funding tenders portal. You will get the information of the type of action that it is. You will see when it open, when it close, and also all the different features on the left on this internal navigation that will help you submit the proposal using the different documents that are needed. Okay, so here, if you scroll down, you will see a general navigation. It includes general information on the work packages, on the work program as well, the description of the topic, the destination, the documents that you need to be aware of, the budget of the call, but also something that we've mentioned already, and this is the partner search announcement, okay? Then you also have a Q&A because there are many questions coming up normally each year for the different calls, and the start submission. This is where you will be able to log in and start your submission. Again, these documents, and I won't go into details because Tuba already mentioned there, you need to be aware when you apply for this kind of fellowship of, I would say, a lot of official documentation. But obviously, the main two ones for you will be to read your work program 2026. In this case, this is taken from last year, and the guide for applicants for the year of the call. Because this guide for applicants will give you a lot of information on how to write and what to write in the proposal and the different aspects relating to the layout of the proposal. For example, the font size, the margins, etc., etc. So all this information, all these documents, you can download them, okay? They will be downloaded from the Circa BC, and this is where they're published and where you can download them. So as you can see, the European Commission has produced a lot of relevant information, not only the guidelines, the work program, the guide for applicants, but also specific tools that will help you define your eligibility in terms, for example, of these 8 years of research experience. It's not it's only a scientific age. It's not an age restriction as such, but it is a self-assessment tool for you to be able to understand if you fit in or not, including your different exceptions. So, the guide for applicants, please read this because here you have all the main definitions of information that you need to include when we talk about outcomes, about non-academic sector, about placements. All this information will be included in the guide for applicants. Something else also in the general conditions and the documents of the funding and tender calls is, again, as you see, all these partner search announcements. Here, this is from last year, so you can see that 63 announcements were made, either looking for expertise or being active there, showing the need to or the possibility to prepare a proposal together with a partner. So here, this is important, okay? When you start the submission, and you have to do by logging in with your EU login account, here you need to define the type of submission. And Tupa already mentioned this because sometimes this is a common mistake. So you will be able to modify the content of what you include, but the type of project that you applied for, you will not be able to change, meaning you will have to restart a new procedure. So please ensure that either if you go in for a global fellowship, you start your submission as a global fellowship, or if you're aiming to prepare a European fellowship together with an institution in Egypt, you need to go for the start submission as a European fellowship. Again, although we are explaining and we are provided this documentation, there's also an online manual and an IT how-to guideline for you to ensure that everything is ready from your sides, that the PDF size are not too heavy, etc., etc., etc. So again, one thing for you is to download the information that is available there from CRBC, but then to start the submission, you will need to either log in with your EU account or create your EU account. That is also something that you need to do. Then you will have to look for the PIC. the participant number of your institution, your participant identification code of your institution. This is an example of TÜBİTAK, that is actually the institution from TÜGBA, that you can find either by the short name or by the PIC. And here you will see down on the screen, please indicate your role in the proposal. And again, as we mentioned, you have the supervisor, who is the main contact. You have a contact person from the institution, who normally is somebody from the EU Grants Office. And then you have the researcher, who applies to be recruited at the institution. Okay, so each of these different roles will be able to submit the proposal. So again, this is the information on the PIC, the institution. You need to ensure that the organization is validated or declared. And if you're a new organization, you will have to follow the procedure to get your PIC validated. Now, something also very important in this online submission is the acronym that you choose for your proposal, and also the short summary, knowing that the short summary, if funded, will be available as a public abstract, as a public summary, sorry. The acronym, there are different tools also for you to help you create an acronym, but please know that this acronym will follow you in your career, so it is important to choose a correct one. And then you can save and go to a different step. And here is where you will also have to choose your scientific panel. If you remember, we mentioned that this is a bottom-up program, but it does include obviously an order, and this means that you can choose one of the different 8 panels to submit your proposal. For example, if it is a social sciences and humanities proposal, which actually is on top, I would say, on the demand of projects, then you also can, if your project is very interdisciplinary and it matches with another, for example, I don't know, eco-science panel, you will be able to choose different keywords for the evaluators who will read the proposals, for the commission who will actually bring this to the different 3 experts who will read your proposal, to ensure that the right profiles are reading your project. So you can also show your multidisciplinarity when submitting the proposal. You will be able to then, on the left-hand side, download the Part B. All these Part B1 that TÜBİTAK has been explaining to you will be downloaded here from the call. This is important. Only use this downloaded Part B template, because if you use something from a different year, the sub-criteria that TÜBİTAK has informed you about can be changed, okay? And this is very important. Just don't innovate in the template, just use the one that is available for you. Then you will be able to edit the different forms, and the addition of forms here, I'm not going to stop in all of them because you will have them. The addition of form will bring you to the A part. Okay, this A part includes 5 different aspects where you will have to include information on the participants, on the budget, and some other questions. So this is where you can click and start preparing all this information. Okay, the proposal type, the duration of the projects, the keywords, and the abstracts. Again, the participants will be included and the budget. And just a very short, and I'm going to stop here for just a minute to show you that this is automatic and it's very easy. We have explained you the different living allowances, mobility allowance, the institutional contribution for the institution. And here is where you will fill in your information. Depending on the country that you will choose, a different country coefficient will appear. And depending on the number of months, normally it can be up to 24 months for the European Fellowship, but up to 36 for Global Fellowship, plus the 6 months non-academic placements for the 2 options. So this will be automatically calculated by the system, okay? So it's really easy to define the budget, and it's done automatically, as we mentioned. So once you have edited all your A forms, and once you have uploaded, as you can see, the Part B, Part B1 and Part B2 uploaded as PDF, you will be able then to submit your proposal. And as we mentioned, please do that before the deadline, not leave that for the last minute. So the idea with all these screenshots is to show you that it is an online format, it's very well guided, you have supported information, and if at some point you get stuck, it's always possible also to contact your NCP or internally at the institutions to allocate support from your EU grants office to do all this process, not to do it on your own and not to leave it for the last minute. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Christina. That was extremely useful because even a strong proposal needs to be submitted correctly and completely, right? So
absolutely. If not, it can be inadmissible or ineligible. And again, what you submit, it's going to be final. Obviously, you can do a redress if needed, but normally it will be final. And it will be a pity if you don't have the letter of commitment for the Global Fellowship or something that is only an administrative part after so many months of work. It really is important to dedicate time to submit the proposal well.
Yeah. So now we have established that strong proposals, that's not enough in itself. You need also to submit it correctly. And now we move to a part of the program that is always especially valuable for participants, a first-hand success perspective. Because it's only one thing to hear about the rules, but it's equally important to hear from someone who has actually done it, did it, and gone through the journey. And I'm pleased to introduce Dr. Ayman Sabr. He's a MSCA Postdoctoral Fellow at the Central Agricultural Pesticide Laboratory at the Agricultural Research Center in Egypt. And in this session, Dr. Ayman will speak about how to be successful in the fellowship, and will share his experience. And this actually, we appreciate very much his time and that he's going to spend with us today, reflecting on his grant that he was awarded recently. Dr. Ayman, welcome, and the floor is yours.
Thank you, but I cannot share. So can you please? Okay.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for invitation. And thanks, Dr. An, for inviting me. My name is Ayman Sabr. I'm an environmental analytical chemistry from Egypt. I completed my graduate study abroad in Japan and China. Actually, I am currently working as Marie Curie postdoc fellow at University of Cordoba in Spain. Today, I would like to briefly share my experience with Marie Curie and how this opportunity can benefit researcher and an institution in Egypt. My research focused mainly in environmental contamination in different environmental metrics, especially in aquatic ecosystem. Actually, I'm graduated from Faculty of Agriculture, Cairo University. So in particular, I investigate immersion contamination and the chemical associated with microplastic in marine organisms, especially fish. My research experience have developed through work in several international research environments, including China, Japan, and also I work around 10 years in Egypt because I'm a research assistant in Agriculture Research Center. And now I work in Spain, focusing on environmental pollution and advanced analytical techniques. My research to investigate this complex mixture of chemical, I use advanced analytical techniques such as LC high resolution and LC mass, which allow to detect and identify many contamination in same time. This type of research is particularly important for countries like Egypt, where marine resource and the seafood play an important role in food security and environmental sustainability. Here we can go about the most important for my presentation about the journey for the Marie Curie. Actually, my journey to Marie Curie fellowship started in 2022 after I back from China after I finished my PhD. When I started looking for postdoc fellowship, I start to developing a clear research idea related to emergent contamination associated with microplastic in marine ecosystem. So when I preparing my application for the Marie Curie postdoc, I quickly realized that writing successful proposal require more than simply having a good research idea. The first step was identifying a strong and relevant scientific question. In my case, my research focus in emergent contamination. These contamination are complex mixture, and understanding their presence and the behavior in marine ecosystem require advanced analytical techniques. However, in Marie Curie proposal, the evaluation is not based only, as we heard before, in the research idea itself. The proposal is evaluated according to several key criteria that I take more attention when I prepare my proposal. The first and most important criterion is scientific excellence. These include the original of the research idea, the clarity of the objective, and the quality and feasibility of the proposed methodology. Therefore, I worked carefully to design a project that addresses an important environmental challenge while applying advanced analytical techniques such as high resolution. The second important in the proposal when I applying is the aspect is impact. Marie Curie strong emphasize the project will contribute to the career development of the research and the broader scientific community. In my proposal, I highlight how the fellowship would allow me to expand my experience in advanced analytical chemistry, for example, while also strengthening international collaboration. Another key factor is implementing of the project, which include a clear work plan, realistic milestones, and well-structured training program. I work closely with my host supervisor to design a project that was both scientifically and feasible within the fellowship period. So after I start think about the idea, I choosing the right host institution, and I look that search through the Euroxis. So I choose the right host institution, and the supervisor was also extremely important. I found that in my case, the University of Cordoba provide a strong experience in analytical chemistry and environmental contamination, which is aligned very well with my research background. So preparing the proposal also require a carefully planning and several rounds of revision, because we prepare it from start on the opening of the call from April, and we every week or every during preparing the proposal, we have always made to prepare a very strong proposal. And I think we submitted at 2 days before the deadline, because we need to make a very strong proposal. So as I say, it's essential that the proposal is clear, well structured, and written in a way that evaluators from different scientific background can easily understand the significance of the research. From my experience, the key factors that could contribute to the success of my proposal: a strong and relevant research idea, a clear and well-structured proposal, a good match between the research and the host institution, and a clear demonstration of the scientific and the career impact of the fellowship. And after we finalize the proposal, we submitted to Marie Curie postdoc fellowship, and following the evaluation process, and it was successfully funded. But to be honest, I'm not to just give motivation to the audience. As a result, in February, I didn't select it. I'm not passed from the first round. I got, I think, a score around 89%. And at that time, the accepted around, I think, in 91, 92. I talk about in fall of 2022. Now is more high. And in April, I receive seal of excellence, which you can apply in another project, and it give you power. And even my supervisor was like the proposal, so she say we can modify or make according to the comments, and modify our the proposal to submit in the next round or the next call. But actually, I remember around in June of 2023, I received an email from the European Commission that there is extra fund, and then if I want to apply, they are willing, or if I want to apply that project, they are willing to support me and they give me the fund. So I got acceptance in the July in 2023 for the Marie Curie. Then I come to Spain in July 2024 because, as you know, to take the vacation and the permission from the research institution in my country take time. So I come after 1 year in 2024. Then I almost 1 year and 8 months applying this. So it's not successfully from the first time. And even I know one of my colleague get Marie Curie after 3 years. He applied 2 times and failed, and he doesn't lost his motivation. So he even every year he apply, but of course it changes not make same proposal, of course, modify according to the reviewer comments. So finally, he got it, the Marie Curie. So now I would like to talk about my research project. My research project focus in investigation in emergent contamination associated with microplastic in marine fish. As you know, microplastic is mainly emergent contamination, but now is a vector for 100 or 1,000 of chemical from the water to aquatic biota like fish. So the project aims to identify a wide range of chemicals that may be present in marine organisms, including plastic additives, pharmaceutica, PFAS, pesticides, and other industrial contamination. And to achieve this, we use advanced analytical techniques such as LC high resolution, and we developing pre-treatment. We use supermolecular solvent, which allow us to screen and detect hundreds of chemical compounds in same time. This approach help us better understand the complex mixture of contaminations that may be associated with microplastic and how this substance accumulate in marine organisms. The goal of this research is to improve our understanding of contamination transfer with the marine and with the marine food webs, and assess potential implementation for sea food safety and human exposure. So why Marie Curie is matter for Egyptian? Programs like Marie Curie, from my experience, are very important for strengthening research collaboration between Europe and countries like Egypt. Firstly, they provide excellent research training and access to advanced laboratory and scientific infrastructure. Like them give you a fund for research, in my case, around 24K euro. So you can use it in the lab, you can use it for training, you can use it for conference, and they actually support you a lot. For example, in my case, once I arrived in July, I found the email from European Commission that they can encourage me to apply for the Lindau Nobel Laureate meeting in chemistry in 2025 last year. And up to selection of these from the who can apply through the Marie Curie. The nominations, some people to attend Nobel Laureate, which is selected around 600 young research to attend and take experience with Nobel laureates and even exchange some experience with researcher and even PhD student who attend in this kind of event. So they are support you a lot. Second, they promote international scientific collaboration and help research to build a strong global network. Third, these programs support innovation and research impact on global environmental and sociality challenges. Finally, why these Marie Curie is matter for Egypt? Because they help strengthen research capacity in Egyptian institutions through knowledge exchange and collaboration. My advice for the applicant, for researcher interested in applying to Marie Curie, I would like to share a few simple suggestions. First, developing a clear and innovation research idea with a strong scientific impact. Yes, I don't recommend you just ask someone who get or you take a proposal for someone already success or someone even fail. No, I not mean that you will not share the idea with someone or ask about the experience for this, but don't take very copy and just make your information based or change a few things. No, you must make something is very novelty. Second, choose the right host institution and supervisor. Doesn't mean you should only focus with top rank university. No, you should look for the university that can applicable for your project, for your idea. Like for my example, I chose Cordoba University, even it's from 600, but I found this lab where I work now is applicable to achieve my idea or my proposal. Third, invest enough time in preparing a strong and well-structured proposal because, as you know, it takes time and the evaluation is very, very complication. Finally, hide your strengths, research experience, and career goals in the applications. Finally, thank you very much for your attention. I hope my experience can encourage more Egyptian researchers and institutions to engage with international programs such as Marie Curie. And welcome to any question or if someone later want to contact with me.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ayman. That was a very valuable contribution because practical experience often helps participants connect with the official rules and conditions with the real journey behind a successful application. And this now brings us to another important dimension of the MSA community, the value of researcher networks and alumni engagement. And I'm therefore very pleased to introduce Precious Equari, who is the chair of MSCA Africa chapter. I hope I have pronounced the name correctly. So in the next session, she will present the Marie Curie Alumni Association Africa chapter activities and how the wider community can support networking, visibility, peer exchange, and long-term engagement beyond a single call. Precious, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. I hope everybody can hear me. Thank you for this opportunity to present the MSCA African chapter to you. First of all, I want to thank the organizers of the program. Sorry, I'm trying to share my slide. Yeah.
Can you just make it full screen? That would be great.
Oh, okay. I can't even find where to make it full screen now.
It's fine. You can go ahead, but you'll need to move the slides manually, but in this way, like
Okay. Yeah. Okay, that's fine. I will just be okay. Yeah, I found it.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Great.
Okay. So thank you so much to the organizers of this event. My name is Precious Equari, and I am the African chapter chair of the Marie Curie Alumni Association. The MCAA, which is the Marie Curie Alumni Association, was founded in 2012. So it's an organization founded and also funded by the European Commissions. Currently, we are over 22,000 members, and the membership is free and it is open to any past or present beneficiary of the funding under any of the scheme, whether the Horizon Europe or the Horizon 2020, any of the scheme, you are welcome to be part of us. So, like I said, our major funding comes from the European Commission. So the mission of MCAA is to bring together the MSCA community, support the career development of present and past MSCA beneficiaries, and we support researchers at all career stages and across all disciplines. So our vision is to build a sustainable research environment where knowledge can benefit society. So because we strongly believe that if we come together, we can solve the problems that plague our society. So it is very important for us in MCAA that scientists network together. Networking is a big thing for us. So the goal is connecting the MSCA community, so building a network of researchers, career development for the MCAA members, and advocacy for researchers. So it's built on networking, career development, and science policy. Those are our strong pillars. The MCAA provide a couple of services like the member directory. So we have a network of researchers, and with that we can do a lot of surveys, presenting reports and analysis and recommendations. Then we also organize events, chapter events, working group events, and also participate in global initiatives like the GLOPOL and other European Commission initiatives. So we also support each other, support the MCA community, and we do that through training. Like we have the Coursera free, we have free sign-ons Coursera where the MCA members can engage in knowledge and career development. So we also give micro grants as members of the community. You can enjoy from micro grants, which can help you to do some travels and little things like that. Also, award and recognitions. We do that for the MCAA members. The MCA members, like I said, we are about 22,000 people and we are spread across 155 nationalities. So the structure of the MCA is such that we have the board members, we have the MCA chapters, and we have the MCA working group. And I'm talking to you now as a chapter representing the MCA African chapter. So the MCA Africa chapter is one of the 37 chapters of the MCAA community. Currently, the MCAA chapters, we have about 169 members of that chapter. And what we do is strengthening MSCA awareness in Africa. So we know that yes, there's this Horizon Europe funding. There's funding for MSCA. There's this call to Europe, making Europe your next destination. But we know as Africans, most of the people around us are not even aware of these opportunities. So we create awareness by participating in webinars like this or organizing our own webinars where we invite speakers to talk about the opportunities available under the MSCA actions. Also, we building an active research community. Like I said, community is very important with us. We engage our members across the different countries in Africa to support capacity building. Then most the activities we do involve representation and policy engagement. So members of the MCAA, we are called upon once in a while to participate in policy dialogues and conferences to ensure African researchers are represented, like the World Science Forum, like the COVID, where vice presidents, president and rectors of universities were together. The MCAA was called as a chapter to represent the voice of African researchers. So we participate in those kind of activities. We also collaborate with international research support networks like the UXS Africa, like GLOPOL, and we bring information about MSCA, make it available to researchers in Africa. Amongst that, we organize our own targeted webinars for African researchers. So we organize webinars that addresses the uniqueness of African researchers, because it's not what researchers in Africa face, it's not the problems we face in Africa that is central to everybody. So we have these unique webinars we initiate, like reintegration after an MSCA program. How does it work? So we get researchers that have had those experiences and they share with other researchers. How do you reintegrate into your country after an MSCA program? Also mentorship for African researchers, because mentorship in Africa is a big deal, and because it might not be in other parts of the world, probably they've gotten through that. So we have to come together and address these issues that are unique to us. So those are the kind of things we do as a chapter. Amongst that, we do societal engagement through science initiative, like during the International Day of Women and Girls in Science with junior secondary. We went to school. Some of our members went to school in collaboration with the Midnight. We went to schools, created awareness, because we also believe that opinions about where researchers will end up going or where scientists will end up going, it's formed long before they become scientists, long before they become researchers. So if we want them to choose Europe as their destination, if we want them to consider the MSCA programs, we have to start creating awareness even to our younger people. So we went to school, talked to them about science, celebrated with the girls, and gave them some presents. So this is still us in collaboration with some of the local NGOs. We gave toys, science inspired toys like building blocks and Legos to girls, which, yeah. So those are the kind of things we do. So those are the kind of activities we engage in as a chapter. So if you're not a member yet and you have participated in an MSCA action, why not? You should join us. So this is how you can contact us. That's our email. You can go to the website, send us a request. We will add you to our membership list. So thank you for your attention, and thank you for the opportunity to share with you. Thank you so much to the organizers again. It's an honor and a pleasure to share with you our journey as a chapter. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Precious. That was an important reminder that MSA is not only about funding, but also about joining a wider research community. And I would say now we have covered a great deal today, the opportunities, the rules, and institutional strategies, drafting also process and submission, and first-hand experience, and the important wider alumni dimension. And as we come to the end of this webinar, let me first say a very sincere thank you to all of you, especially those who stayed with us until the end of the session today. I know very well that staying with a full online program until the end requires really real commitment, especially it's Ramadan. So thank you for your time, your attention, your questions, and also your interest in making the Egyptian institutions more active and more visible in Horizon Europe. I would also like to extend my warm thanks to the speakers and the contributors today, to Tuba, Arslan, and Christina Gomez for their valuable support and practical presentations, and also for being the initiator of the event today. And also a special thanks to Dr. Ayman Saper for sharing his practical experience from the perspective of a successful MCA fellow. And also, of course, to Precious for highlighting the important role of the Marie Curie Alumni Association. And I believe we answered all the questions in the chat already. I see my colleagues already responded. If not, feel free to share it by email as well. Also, from experience, I can tell you that real questions usually start after the webinar, not only during it. So when you start preparing your proposal, or when you start discussing with a colleague about your idea or the next steps, this is actually the time where you have more questions. So don't hesitate to contact us. Regarding the support structure in Egypt, now we have the as I mentioned earlier, the technical assistance project is about to start at the Ministry of Higher Education and Scientific Research, and this actually is providing a very important package of support to Egyptian institutions and the Egyptian researchers, and that covers the understanding of the opportunities and the program, and also help participants to prepare their proposals and build partnerships. So and there will be also partnership building support, and also services including mentoring and coaching and proposal clinics, and I have seen also a question in the Q&A here that you probably need a kind of a newsletter or a calendar of the relevant opportunities and calls, and this will actually what we are going to do and share with all of the participants today. And I will stop here. I would like to thank you again, and we will make the recording of this session available, and we will probably share first the presentations and the materials used today by email, and later the recording, just to make sure that you have all the information you need as soon as possible. I'm really looking forward to supporting you in the next phase, and I'm very much hope to see many institutions and many proposals coming forward very soon. And thank you so much. Tuba, Christian, do you want to say any closing remarks?
All good, Thank you for this excellent event. I see a couple of more questions. I will be replying before closing the session. Thank you for all very kind participation.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.